Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for this segment, we have Jamie Finn, President of Securitize, to discuss growing interest in tokenization of real-world assets and private credit markets. It's great to have you with us, Jamie. Welcome to Trade Talks, and let's talk about the tokenization of real-world assets. It really has seemed to take off in 2024. In fact, a report from Boston Consulting Group suggests that by 2030, the tokenization market could be as large as $16 trillion. And just to kick it off here, Jamie, for viewers who may not have heard this term before, how does the process of tokenization work?
Sure. I mean, it's really the process of taking what is normally a analog or even paper-based asset and making it available more broadly in a digital sense. So what we do is we'll work with an asset manager or an advisor to create a product, a financial product of some sort. It could be a venture fund, a hedge fund, a private credit fund, and then create essentially an asset that's represented on a blockchain that represents your ownership in that share. So instead of having a signed piece of paper or a stock certificate, you have a token that's represented on a blockchain.
And Jamie, why do you think it's such an impactful moment for tokenized digitized assets right now?
Yeah, so what we've seen happening is really a huge kind of effort by asset managers all over the world to reach more investors. So they want to kind of expand their footprint about who they're able to speak to and who's able to invest in their products. In order to do that, you really have to digitize the process because the standard process is quite cumbersome. It'll be hundreds and hundreds of pages of a document that you have to fill out, which is then coupled with a kind of opaque reporting. And so you have to digitize the entire process if you want to make it available to more people.
Is the opportunity in tokenization for investors with experience, or is this the type of new market that will welcome new investors?
So in its first kind of initiation and kind of in the phase we're at right now, it's really a product that's for a more experienced investor, but that isn't necessarily going to put, $2 million or $10 million to work. Instead, they're going to put $10,000 or $20,000 to work, but they should really be experienced in kind of alternative assets and understanding, the cadence of reporting, some of the illiquidity challenges that come with it, and just understanding what the products are in essence and how they're kind of put together so that they can really participate. Now, we are making these products available to more and more investors. So whereas today we only have a private credit product for a qualified purchaser, we're moving down the food chain quickly. We have an accredited investor product coming very soon, and we hope to have a retail product in market next year. So we really see the opportunity to kind of make this asset class broadly available to folks. It just takes some time when you go to smaller investors or kind of less sophisticated investors.
And it should be noted that tokenized assets or securities and abide by securities laws, and Securitize is a fully regulated and compliant platform regulated by both the US SEC and FINRA. How did you go about getting those licenses, and why was it important to Securitize?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. When we started Securitize in 2017, we initially thought we would just be a technology service provider. But in the process of kind of talking to the large asset managers and different firms on Wall Street, they really wanted to deal with a regulated entity. And so over the better part of 3 years, we went through the process first to become a transfer agent and then to become a broker dealer with the ability to trade securities on a secondary market through an ATS. So, with us, you have a firm that's worked for, 6 years now, learning the space, growing, and then really becoming a market leader. And I think if you were to look at the amount of investors we have on our platform, the amount of transactions we process, or really any measure when it comes to blockchain-based securities, we're the absolute market leader.
The private credit market is growing exponentially from $1.5 trillion to $3 trillion within 5 years. And I understand that Securitize already has a private credit product through Hamilton Lane Scope Fund. How did you identify that as an area of investment opportunity?
Yeah, so we sat down with Hamilton Lane at the beginning of this year and looked over their profile of different products that they had and what might be interesting to investors. The thing that stuck out to us the most about the private credit product was that it had a monthly subscription and the ability to offer liquidity to investors, which we thought was really important for new investors joining the space, was the ability for them to enter at a frequent cadence and also be able to exit their position while getting the benefits. And one of the unique things we did with this product is we made it so that an investor can redeem their entire investment on demand whenever they want. So it really gives investors the opportunity to try something new with very little risk. The Hamilton Lane product, delivers 8 to 10% annually, very reliably, and it's a low risk private credit product. There's a wide gamut of different assets, and we really like theirs because it was sort of not middle of the line. It was a top of the line manager with a low risk profile.
It seems that private credit was a hot topic in 2023 as retail investors look for other areas to gain returns from. How do you see the private credit space evolving for individual investors?
So what we really see is kind of this evergreen product. And I think we're going to see a lot of evergreen products kind of scale up because the returns on evergreen are much better than they are in closed-end funds. And so what we see is kind of more access being provided in the space, and really a significant amount of growth, because if you look at what's happening with the regulators and banks, these kind of firms really can't lend money anymore. And so all these different companies need to go to alternative sources for capital, and private credit is the ideal place to go.
Mm-hmm. And Securitize, you've been a part of several industry firsts. Which of these do you think has had the most significant impact on the digital asset securities market?
I think the launch of the first project we did with KKR, which really brought one of the top asset managers on the planet into the tokenization world, is really the thing that changed the market. And you saw it immediately afterwards. Everybody was out speaking about it and trying to do different things. And so I think that KKR moment, I think, is widely acknowledged as one of the most important.
Mm-hmm. And what should we expect to see from you and the Securitize team in terms of growth over the next few years?
Yeah, so just, as I mentioned, we're really about expanding access. So bringing more products to market, bringing a really high quality set with some choices. We want to give people, 2 or 3 different choices in each one of the categories that we offer from different managers. And I think you'll also see a lot more Web3 or kind of the crypto or blockchain applications come to life with us. We're trying to really take some of the unique aspects that blockchain brings, which is really significantly about provenance and being able to prove who owns what. And with that, you can do a lot of really interesting things. One of them is trading, but what about borrowing? What about lending? These are all opportunity spaces that now that you have a native digital asset, you can do these types of services for the first time. So we're really excited about what's going to happen. And also just kind of the broader ecosystem. The way we've built things is really inclusive. And so other developers can come and build applications that use our infrastructure.
Finally, Jamie, how can new investors, customers, or other individuals get involved and get access to the platform and your team?
Sure. They're welcome to join the more than 500,000 people that have gone to Securitize.io and opened an account with us. It's a very simple process, email, password. Then you can have a look at the offerings. And then if you decide you'd like to invest, we have some additional questions we'll ask you, and you can go ahead and make your investment online. We accept subscriptions at all times for the funds that we offer. So they're all open today, and you can go ahead and invest directly.
All right, Jamie, appreciate the insight on this space. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.